Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3-0 Take, where we talk all things Major League Baseball. Here's Kyle Corwin and Nate Reyes. It all starts right now.
Welcome back to the 3-0 Take, presented by Big League Chew. This is episode 290. I'll be your host, Kyle Corwin, and I'm here with my co-host, Nate Reyes. Nate.
290. Bringing it to you live. Not live, actually. Sorry.
Getting close.
Yeah. Getting close to 300. Real close.
Real close. Speaking of that, speaking of the live thing, I've tinkered around with the idea of that, of potentially doing maybe a Facebook Live for our episodes, maybe giving people a chance to catch it.
Yeah.
Unedited, unfiltered. I mean, for what it's worth, I don't really edit these anyway.
True. We used to.
I used to cut stuff out all the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, you know what? The people need to hear Nate's takes.
And honestly, we're professionals at this point anyway. So
Yeah. I don't know if we'd go that far, but
no, that's a stretch. Yeah.
we're getting there. Yeah, apologize for the delay in getting this episode out. I know our schedule's been a little wonky the last couple episodes, but just got back from the beach today. Literally mere minutes ago. Made Nate wait all this time.
Did you get tan?
I got a couple shades darker. I know it might be a little tough to tell in the if you're watching on YouTube, it might be a little tough to tell. If I had a white, clean white tee on, you might be able to tell. Yeah, I got a couple shades darker, but I feel good, feel refreshed, as you're supposed to after the beach. So,
Did you bring the glove down?
can't complain. We did. We had a couple tosses on the beach last couple days. That was nice.
The wing feel pretty good still?
Wing feel is good, man. Gotta keep it loose for Sunday League here in a few number of days. So
Yeah.
feeling good. Feeling real
Nice.
good.
Played in a golf tournament this weekend.
Nice.
Nice little 4-man scramble.
What'd you shoot?
We shot 6 under, which was pretty good. But scrambles there's always a cheating team. The winning team shot 15 under, and there's just no way. It was crazy windy. It was a struggle for even us. I mean, I had 3 really good teammates. I was definitely the worst one there. And yeah, no way someone shot 15 under. No shot. Way too windy. But you know what? Made it back to the clubhouse. Got myself a pulled pork Sammy, some chips, and then got the hell out of there. Didn't even wait for the trophy.
I know we've talked about your golf prowess on here before, but how would you describe your golf game? Like if somebody was listening and they happen to be in the same town or city as you one day down the road, and they wanted to challenge you to golf, what kind of opponent are you taking? Like where are you placing yourself on the spectrum in terms of golf ability? Who are you willing to take a challenge from?
I'm very typically anywhere from 85 to 90.
Okay.
That's, I would say, average score, anywhere from 85 to 90. I get my 100 yards in are the worst. My short game is the worst. And that just happens, when you don't play enough. I don't play enough. But your boy can hit it deep for sure. Your boy can hit it deep. The driver is not an issue. So I think that's typically anywhere from like 290 to 315. And Saturday in the wind, it was rough. But your boy got one up into the wind, outdrove the green on a par 4. It was like 350. It was a tank. I think that's all I'm really good for. The rest of it is just no bueno.
I'm speaking with a golf legend, is what I'm hearing right now.
Basically, long drive champion.
So if somebody is in Chandler, Arizona, they can hit you up and they can treat you to a round of golf.
Yeah, hit me up. I'll play whenever. Love it.
All right, so
but it's hot, so you got to get out there early.
The opportunity, the window is open for anybody who wants to play Nate in a round of golf. Head on out to Chandler, Arizona. Hit him up.
Yeah. My little wish list. I'm going to put a little wish list out there. Like all those OnlyFans accounts that are doing like wish lists. You can buy them things. Buy me a round of golf, please. It's the least you could do. For what I provide twice a week, I mean, come on.
I was gonna say Nate doesn't ask for much. Just go out there and treat him to a round of golf. That's really it. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all you ask for.
Summer here, it's cheap. $50-$60. It's not bad. Still hot though.
He doesn't ask for much.
You'd die out here in 110 trying to golf. You'd be a puddle of sweat.
No thanks. Which, by the way, last thing before we get on to baseball talk here, I determined that 75 degrees is optimal temperature. It was 75 at the beach all weekend. A little chilly for the beach, but turns out that it's doable. Like the water's a little cold, but you get used to it. And then when you're out, it's just 75 degrees and sunny. So I determined that 75 is optimal temperature. Anybody else that wants to argue with me?
I would agree.
Good luck.
You could choose whatever. You could do a hoodie with shorts. You could go short sleeve with pants. You do whatever you want.
The flexibility is just insane.
Yeah.
No, that's mean. I was gonna say, speaking of flexibility, Manny Machado's knee doesn't have much. That's or ankle. That's not nice. That's not nice. But on a more serious note, we've got some pretty big names going down. And it's not good. And nor was that video.
No, dude.
Boy, let me tell you what. That I cannot watch injury-related videos like that. And I think I've mentioned this to you before.
Yeah.
But back when I played, it was a thing that I didn't do. Like if somebody was like, "Oh, dude, look at this video of this football player tearing his ACL," like a highlight from like the Sunday night football or whatever. I can't, because for some reason in my mind, I thought that if I watched whatever injury was taking place on that screen, that it would happen to me. Yeah. And I was like, I can't, because if I can't even visualize what's happening, maybe my body will just be like, I've never seen this type of injury before, so I'm not physically capable of performing this injury, so I just never watched them. But this I had to, for the sake of the pod.
Stay light on your feet out there for Sunday League, my man. Stay light.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not out of the woods yet. I don't know. That was a big mistake.
Yeah, because I blew my knee out in Sunday League, so just be careful, pal. Be careful.
The things I do for the pod, man. It's
big sacrifices.
I'm basically just asking for an ankle sprain at this point. But not good news for the Padres. Safe to say the National League MVP front runner going down. Yeah. The X-rays came back negative on the ankle sprain. And the last that I saw, unless you saw anything different, they're waiting to make a call on whether or not they're gonna put him on the shelf for a little bit. But those are weird. I feel like the two worst injuries you can have in baseball that are like the question mark injuries, like I know there's worse injuries, but I'm saying like the unknown injuries where like it's just you're in uncharted territories every time it happens. It's ankles like being sprained and obliques. Those are like the two injuries you don't know. Like you just gauge it day by day and hope for the best. And it's just, I mean, it pisses me off. Like, what are we doing with these bases? Why is this still a thing? We watched Bryce Harper. I mean, this is borderline just as bad as Bryce Harper's video. That one freaks me out a little bit more because of the knee versus the ankle, just for me personally. But dude, like, why are we still using these insanely slick bases? I don't understand. Well, I don't know how they maintain bases in the big leagues, but if you remember, I'm sure you guys and like you and your teammates did the same thing. Like in high school, like we just used the same bases, but before each game we'd spray paint them.
Yeah,
and exactly. I remember even then thinking,
Yeah.
This doesn't seem like the greatest idea. Yeah, it makes them look nice and pretty, and I personally love doing it. It was oddly satisfying for me.
Spray paint rocks it for sure. I like that.
But I'm like, this doesn't exactly make it the most foot-friendly footing, you know?
Yeah, well, there's two things to this. One, I feel like every ball player swaps cleats out 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Right? So you know those spikes are new, the shoes are new. And two,
which how do they not get blisters, by the way? Like
I have no idea. I hated new cleats.
They're wearing new spikes
hated
like
it for
every
like the first 2 weeks. I hated
every
it.
week.
I don't get it either. And then like these bases, I think I always see them like being pulled and auctioned off. Because I don't know,
True,
like I
true.
think each stadium's a little bit different. I do know that like a lot of times they'll do like a little emblem, like a little plaque almost on each side.
Yep.
Or it'll have like the matchup, or if it's like a special day, like a Jackie Robinson day or something like that, right? They'll have that on there. So they swap them out like crazy, but I just don't understand why. It's the worst material. It's so slick.
No, that's a good thought, because I just remembered, like in many of the ballparks I've been to, and I'm sure
You see like the auction.
Yeah, most, if not
Yep.
all of the parks have like that section in the store, or like a kiosk around the concourse where it'll just be, even if it's not an important game, they'll just have like game used bases and game used this
it's a cool
or that,
thing.
whatever.
Definitely a cool like memorabilia thing, but I just don't understand why is it the material? Like I feel like we need to go back to those old school pillows. You remember those bad boys? Step on them and just all kinds of things would fly out of it.
Yep.
Old school ones, dude. I'd prefer those. I don't understand what these are.
I don't know if these bags are cutting it.
Like hard rubber.
Maybe this is, we talk about all the time, the league getting involved in some sort of conspiracy, like with the umpires. Are they intentionally trying to force the umpires out of the league so they can implement robots? Maybe this is an effort to...
We're getting bigger bases for sure. I think that's coming. They just need to change the material.
Well, but what I'm saying, though, is with that added... I can't remember. Did they decide on that added bag? Like, you know how they were...
I don't think it's added bag. I don't think that's coming.
But you remember that being like brought up at one point in the
like
offseason.
the old softball bag, the orange bag on the
Maybe
the foul territory.
Who knows, man?
Ugh. That's ugly.
Real ugly. Who
That'd be
knows,
ugly.
though?
But I mean, hey, whatever's gonna work, whatever's gonna keep guys safe. Like this is, and to have an MVP race cut short because of this, and you know we don't know how long he's gone, and he may very well just come back and continue what he was doing already. But my issue is when every day, every play almost type of actions are creating injuries. This isn't like him crashing into the wall. This isn't him like, you know, reaching over the railing in the dugout and falling over kind of thing. It's not one of those weird scenarios. This is a regular, normal action that every player does every game, every day. And it's not safe. That's an issue. You know what I mean? This isn't a normal crashing into the wall. Oh, he got hurt. He's laying out trying to make an amazing catch. It's not like that. This is a regular, everyday, and it was a hard 90. He's trying to beat it out. A guy that has typically been criticized for hot dogging it down the line is trying to beat it out. And this is his reward. He's never going to run hard again. I wouldn't.
I saw one of those fake quote accounts, and it was they made a fake quote for Machado, and it was like, and this is why I only play 40%, meaning like his effort level. It's like, this is why I play 40% all the time.
Absolutely.
No, and look, I'm going to play, I don't even know if this is devil's advocate, but I'm sure there are those hardo coaches right now who are like JV baseball coaches that are watching this video and going, well, in a way, he kind of brought this on himself because he didn't approach the front of the bag. He went on the back side of the bag. It's like, well, yes, that's why I mean, I don't know at what level that base running practice stops, but I remember like in college making sure you focus on hitting the front of the bag, hard 90, and you make sure that you put yourself in a position to make that final step on the front side of the bag.
It just looked like he was in between strides. That's all it was.
Yeah, and he
overextended for sure.
Overextended, caught the back half, and that's what made it buckle, which thank God it wasn't like something far worse than this, because when I saw it the first time, I'm like, knee buckles, he falls to the ground, he's grabbing his shin. It's game over for Manny. But
I mean, how many times you rolled your ankle though? To the point where like you feel that outside ankle bone touch the ground.
Yeah.
'Cause your foot's sideways. That doesn't feel good. Coming down from like a rebound, landing on someone's foot, something like that. Nowadays, I just do it walking down the stairs. But, this guy's running full speed and, it's just, I get it. I understand. There's little nuances and techniques that we're taught at a young age. But either way, I mean, when we didn't do it right, we weren't blowing ankles or knees out. You know what I mean? Like you land on the top of the bag, it's just like, oh, the coach just called you out and that's it. I do remember that though. I think it was in high school. We had to run, maybe even in the Little League, honestly. And everyone had to run the hard 90. And if you didn't touch the right part of the bag, you had to start over and the whole lineup had to start over.
Yeah.
Did you ever do that?
Oh, yeah.
So every kid had to run it the right way.
I'm pretty sure you and I ran those drills together, like on the same Little League team.
Sure we did. I am sure we did. But it's just, it's not cool to be, again, it's an everyday motion. It's an everyday action. And it's not in anyone else's control except the league.
Yeah.
And I don't even think this is about bigger bags. It's not even about the size of the bag.
No, I mean, a bag is going to be a bag. It's going to be there.
It's a material. But if I moving forward, if I'm Manny Machado, whoever's playing first base for me, I'm going to ask, when you get out there in the first, please just scrape this bad boy up. Use your spikes and just ruin this thing. He was wearing spikes, right? It wasn't like the metal or the rubber molds or whatever. It was metal spikes, I think.
Yeah, because they were in San Diego, so I don't see why he wouldn't have been wearing those.
Well, some guys are a little weird. Some guys just wear molded spikes every day.
That's true. But it was in San Diego, right, that he did it?
No, I think it was in Coors.
Oh, yeah. You're right. It was in Denver. That's right. Well, you mentioned everyday action. You could say that going for a fly ball is an everyday action, and that is what led Mookie Betts to come off the field with a...
That's not what led to it.
Cracked rib. What led to it, Nate?
Just all elbows and awkward movement. Cody Bellinger wandering over into right field.
Well,
get your big, clunky, goofy butt out of the way, dude. This is Mookie's territory. Get out of here.
I mean, they were going for the fly ball, so in a way, that played a factor. But to some comments you made before we got on, the weird thing about the whole situation is that he gets up and he's like smiling, he's laughing. Cody helps him up as he
waving
should.
The trainer off, like, I'm good. Smiling, like just normal.
There didn't seem to be any real sense of urgency coming from the booth because, at certain times, from their vantage point, they can maybe see different things. They can see managers getting to the top step more so than people just watching TV can. So they're able to take in a lot more, and so they can communicate that urgency if there is any. But I was listening to the replay or to the call, and they're like, here Mookie's getting helped up. Looks like it was a bang up collision, but all seems well, and all did seem well because he gets up smiling, and here we find out that he's got a cracked rib, and this particular injury has led the Dodgers to go out and get Trace Thompson as a fix because we found out I think it was released today, right, that they were going to be looking to fill a spot, which then which then tells you that they're really going to take their time with Mookie here, because if they're trying to rush him back, they don't announce that they're going to be looking to make a move.
Yeah, I think it's a quick fix. It's a quick Band-Aid. I think we can all agree Trayce Thompson should not be an everyday outfielder for the Dodgers.
Well, on that note, for those wondering who Trayce Thompson is, Trayce Thompson has 223 games of MLB experience, hitting .205 with a .280 OBP, and that's over 6 seasons for the White Sox, Dodgers, A's, Cubs, and Padres.
Been around the block a little bit. Yeah. I mean, the second they said they're not trying to give up any prospects for any potential move, and then this happens, I'm not surprised, but I feel like if I'm in the system, I feel like it's a little bit of a slap in the face, no? You're like, hey, I mean, I'm young, I'm healthy, I'm one of your prized prospects. Why don't you give me a shot instead of trading for some journeyman?
Well, call me super ignorant here for maybe not knowing as much about the Dodgers' organizational depth as others may have or may know about, but did we not come into the season talking about the Dodgers being one of the deepest teams in baseball? Why are we having to go out and make this move? You've got Gavin. I know Gavin Lux has been getting a lot of time this year. You can put him about anywhere. Like,
right. Chris Taylor can play anywhere.
I don't know. And what's funny about this, I failed to mention, but you actually came to mind when I saw that headline where they were saying LA is looking to acquire a right-handed hitting outfielder, quote, at minimal prospect cost. And I'm like, that sounds like the headline Nate would put out when he's trying to make a fantasy trade. That's literally what I thought when I saw it. I was like, minimal cost.
Valid.
But yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me. I like the move for the Dodgers for not rushing this. Although the timing isn't great because, let's be honest, the Dodgers, we just talked about it last episode, the Dodgers are not playing their best ball right now. And while I think they'll be fine, I say that with about like 90% confidence. While I think they'll be fine, I don't know. How do you take that? How do you take the team basically saying we're going to take our time with Mookie, even though we're, all things considered, pretty much scuffling right now for our standards?
I think this speaks to them probably not believing that the Padres are for real. And especially now that Machado has gone down, I think this is a different story if Machado goes down or stays healthy. Machado is good to go. Padres are still rolling. I feel like they may decide something differently. But I don't know, dude. I'm looking at their top prospects. 3 of their top 25 prospects are outfielders. But what is that about? Why not give them a shot? I don't understand. I don't get the move. If it was someone bigger, it's no offense to Trayce Thompson, but if it was someone bigger, I would get it. But I don't know. I mean, I think they'll be fine. It does hurt that Mookie is also in the MVP, conversation a little bit. He's not doing what Machado's quite doing or Goldie, but he was in that top 5 conversation.
Yeah, he is in that MVP conversation without a doubt.
So I think it's just their faith of understanding that they will absolutely be in the postseason, and they feel like they could probably coast a little bit while he gets healthy.
Is one of those prospects, am I reading this right, Alex DeJesus?
Yeah, No, he's a shortstop.
Alex DeJesus is a shortstop.
Yeah. I just pulled up their just MLB.com prospect rankings. Andy Pages, supposed to be ETA for 2023. He's their 4th ranked prospect. So I guess they're still grooming him, which I get.
Oh, yeah.
You get Jose Ramos, 2024. James Outman is their 17th ranked prospect. ETA is 2022. So what's this about? You know, is he not healthy? It's just like, just odd.
Maybe they just don't want to. Maybe this gap they're trying to bridge is not worth rushing.
I would bring this kid up.
The timelines of these guys.
I'd be bringing up this James Outman kid. Hitting 288. OPS of 936. You got 16 doubles this year, 14 home runs. I'd be pissed. Be like, you're choosing Trace Thompson over me?
Yeah, not
Kid's having a good year in AA.
Not the highest praise. But back to the MLB discussion of how this impacts the Dodgers and really the MVP race. Let's say, I mean, at this point we know Mookie's going to miss relatively decent, like a lengthy amount of time. It sounds like. Because again,
this is something that could be like Aaron Judge did this a couple of years ago with a cracked rib, and he kept playing, but it was obviously lingered into, you know, like this longer discomfort. So I think this is something where there's like no baseball activities for a week or two.
Yeah, and like we said,
then rehab starts, and then
So
like you're probably a good month and a half out.
Yeah, you don't make this move if they haven't made it clear to Mookie already that he's going to be missing extended time. And let's say, I mean, it's an ankle sprain, but for the sake of the conversation, let's assume the worst. Let's say Manny hits the shelf for a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially longer if for whatever, who knows, if for whatever reason it doesn't heal or progress the way they see it happening or would like it to happen. How does this impact the MVP conversation? Like, does Goldschmidt just extend his lead in this race that they can't catch up to?
I think it brings other guys into the conversation. And I have one name specifically in mind, and that's Alcantara down in Miami.
Wow.
Get my guy in that conversation a little bit. I feel like literally every start I see him going 7 or 8 constantly. Get him in the conversation. Why not?
Sandy Alcantara has an ERA of 1.72. He leads all of baseball in innings pitched at 99 1/3. Let's see. 8.2 strikeouts per 9. Leads baseball in games started, 14. What's his whip? He's got a whip of 0.95.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Looking real good.
Mm-hmm.
He's only allowed 4 home runs this year.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And then, like we talked about either last episode or the one before, Austin Riley is having another quietly good year. So another guy that deserves a little love to enter into that conversation.
What about my guy Bryce here? The power's
Also
lacking
Bryce.
a little bit, but he's got an OPS of 1.013. OPS plus of 184. He's hitting 326. For those people who, yes, in the year 2022 are still talking about his batting average, he's hitting 326. He's got 15 jacks. I say power's lacking. I mean,
he's still okay.
Still okay. He's got 15 jacks, 48 ribbies, 8 stolen bases for Bryce.
Yeah.
So kind of like last year. I mean, it wasn't his fault that things shaped out the way they did last year with injuries around the league. But who knows? This year, with the way things are shaping out, and like I said, from what it looks like, Machado will be okay in terms of this race. I think he'll come back, and it'll.
I don't know. This could be one of those things where it's just it kind of lingers. We've seen it with Tatis.
Yeah.
Right. It's just like he continues to get pushed back in his timeline. Sprains are weird. Sprains are real weird because you don't know what to do for it. But I think this solidifies Goldie as the favorite right now. But it does allow some other names to get entered in the race. And like you said, Harper 100% deserves to be in that conversation as well. But I feel like I don't know, dude. The Sandy Alcantara old school stuff that he's doing right now makes me happy, and it's for a team that is okay. I don't think they're a bad team, but they're not good. And he just goes out there and dices. I love that. And I feel like every once in a while, a pitcher needs to get into that combo.
Was it last episode that you were talking about how you feel like there's going to be a cultural shift back to starters of old?
I could see it. I really could.
I really could too, and it excites me.
Yeah, and I think it's more of like a mentality shift because there's so much knowledge that is accessible for these pitchers now to where they're able to learn things that they've never learned in their life.
Yep.
We're talking grip and RPMs and arm slot, and there's just so many advanced things that they're learning about their own mechanics that I think they're going to start. I think pitchers are getting better. I think they're getting better, and I think these starters are starting to get to that point where I need to take this back a little bit. And I like seeing guys that just kind of it's an easy transition into that conversation. Alcantara is not some 10-year vet. You know what I mean? To where he's earned the right to tell Donnie Baseball, say, no, I'm staying out here. It's been an easy transition, and I got to give the Marlins credit for letting him become that guy versus just, protecting our prize piece and, taking him out after 6 every day. So I like seeing the mentality shift, but I do think that you're going to see more and more guys like that again. And we're getting out of we're really babying these rosters, right? COVID, the lockout. I think today was where we dropped down to.
It was 14 to 13.
13. Now we're at 13 arms only. So I think that there's just a little bit more of that going on. And I'm a big fan.
I think from a limited perspective, from what I've seen and what I've read up on and heard these former big leaguers talk about who were part of that era where you just went out and if a guy's a horse, he's going to run with it and nobody's going to tell him otherwise. I think the biggest thing that needs to not change, but take place in order to allow that culture shift back into letting these guys just go 7-8 deep if they're willing and able to. Because again, something I don't think I mentioned last episode when you were talking about that is I think something that we're getting back into a little bit is these guys having a little bit of an ego where it's like, you're getting these young guns coming up and throwing 98, 99 every outing, and you're going to try to tell them, hey, look, we know you got 10 Ks, but the guys upstairs say we probably need to cut your innings after this next inning. You think these guys, once they've been in the league long enough, they're going to be okay being told that? No, I don't think so.
Yeah, but I just think we're transitioning into a new generation with this too.
Right. And with that, I think going back to my earlier point, I think the thing that needs to change with that or take place, as I was saying, is we need to figure out a way to find something that has a greater value that supersedes the the whole third time
end all
through
be
the,
all of
the
analytics.
third time through the order analytics, because that
Yeah.
to me that seems to be one of the biggest roadblocks right now as well.
Yeah.
The numbers show that this guy can't be seen the third time through the order. If we can
Yeah.
find something that points to it being more valuable to let that guy just go, whether
Yeah.
it be stretching him out, giving him more time to develop that arm strength, that longevity over the course of a season, if we can find something that outvalues
Yeah.
pulling guys before they see the third time through the lineup, then we'll be in good shape. But until we are able to find something that does that, it's going to be, well, numbers show that he gets banged up a little bit more once he hits that third time through the lineup. And until, like I said, until we're able to change that, I think we're going to be where we're at. But to your point, I think we're at least headed in the right direction.
Well, we had the Greg Maddux days where, 87, 88 miles an hour, it's just painting corners, hitting your spots. And then we transitioned into guys just throwing as hard as they could, and it was a lot of throwers, right? And now we're getting to that point where these guys are throwers, but they're also learning how to pitch the right way. And they're learning how to maximize what they have. And what's awesome about this is that now guys are starting to get paid earlier. So we're seeing more of that max effort. We're seeing more of that better mentality earlier, right? We're seeing younger guys thinking that way earlier versus I'm not going to get paid until I'm 30 anyway, so I'm just going to come out here and chuck as hard as I can. Or, hey, I can chuck, but I can also spot up and I'll get paid at 22, 23 years old. And that's the golden ticket. So I think that's how we're starting to transition, and that's great. It's going to be much better. And I love the fact that we've now what seems like perfected the Tommy John surgery.
Yep.
And there's a little less fear behind that. It's just accepting that you're probably out for 12 to 15 months, and that's it. That's what you're going to get. But at least you know that you can come back and still have a shot at getting paychecks and playing at the highest level.
Especially if the trajectory of the game continues to change in favor of the players, as the players continue to speak out more about what they feel like is fair value for them based on what they bring to the table. As we dove into at length during this offseason with the lockout and everything, a lot of things came to surface. A lot of, I would say, schools of thought were brought to the table. A lot of discussions were had. Things changed. We'll see how that plays out in the future. But it's possible that a combination of all those factors, like we said, could shift the direction of how we view starting pitching again. But bringing it back to Paul Goldschmidt here real quick, because I don't think we gave him the love that he deserves. Just looking at some simple numbers here, some simple yet incredibly impressive numbers. So he's got, as it stands right now, entering, what is today? Monday. Entering Monday, he's got 16 bombs, 58 ribbies. He leads the NL in average at 344, leads the NL in OBP at 423, leads the NL in slugging at 624, and leads the NL in OPS at 1.047. Leads all of baseball in OPS plus at 199, and leads the NL in total bases at 156, and also leads the NL in hits at 86. So, believe it or not, Paul Goldschmidt is having a career year.
Yeah.
Been around the block a time or two, and felt like 2022 was the time for him to reassert himself as one of the best hitters in the league.
Yeah. Yep.
Because he's been one of the most consistent. But in terms of star power, it's really coming out this year.
Yeah. It's good, dude. And I think I'd be thrilled if I was a Cardinals fan because of what that clubhouse has going for them at the moment. And I think when you look at a guy like Goldie, is that it's just he doesn't care about anything you just read off. I don't think he cares about any of that, dude. He just wants to win ball games, And it's cool. It's really refreshing seeing guys like that and seeing them put up numbers and being in this conversation. And I would like to see him hopefully smile at some point throughout this year. He is, I think, surpassing Mike Trout for arguably the most boring superstar in our game. But
I mean, he's smiling in his Baseball Reference picture, and I have to say it does look a little odd. He kind of catches me off guard. It kind of freaks me out a little bit, and a little scared. But
yeah, I think we got to give credit to the Cardinals, man.
How about
we got to give them credit, dude.
Your first place, St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, we got to give them credit, and I think.
Oh, hold on, they're currently tied. Oh, they're playing each other. I forgot. They're tied atop the Central. That's right. I forgot.
Burns versus somebody tonight. I don't know who's thrown for the Cardinals. But I feel like everything kind of flipped a switch when they decided to slide Edman over to shortstop and just solidify shortstop.
Dude.
Constant at the top of the lineup.
Tommy Edman does not get the love that he deserves. Oh,
he doesn't.
Goodness.
He doesn't. I feel like that's just a team of guys that just fly under the radar. I'm excited to see what they do at the deadline. I want to see them bulk up. I want to see them really just add to their depth. I need that. I need it.
I don't know, man. The Cardinals, from what I see, from what Cardinal fans tell me, the Cardinal culture, the Cardinal way, they're not just going to go out and get a guy. They're going to really dive deep into whether or not the person that they're eyeing or the person that they're being recommended to go out and get, if he fits in that clubhouse, if he fits in that culture. Because the Cardinals...
There's specific guys, right? There's specific guys.
Yeah, very rarely have gone out and gotten a guy that upsets the apple cart. They're going to go out and get a guy that, even if it means them taking a little bit of hit in talent, if he adds to the chemistry and fits into that culture and can improve the team as a whole as a result, that's the guy they're going to go out and get. They're not going to go out and get the guy that they can just plug in a roster spot, plug in the lineup every day and say, go out and do your thing. If it doesn't work with the way they do things, and look, shout out to first year manager Ollie Marmol.
Yeah, big time.
He's giving me a little bias here, but giving me real big time Alex Cora vibes, where it's like he's a young guy, but he knows how to keep his hand, he can keep his finger on the pulse of the clubhouse.
Yeah.
And he gets the respect from the guys in that clubhouse. And a number of the guys in that clubhouse are right up there with him in age. And they're the ones out there playing, but they get he gets their respect.
Yeah, I think it's wild that the Waynos and the Yachties and Pujols of the world they're leading the clubhouse, but they're also producing. You know what I mean? When you have a vet that's like, you're kind of just plugging up a roster spot here and you're not giving the team too much, like you're a great culture guy, but that's all you're providing. That's a different story. These guys are actually producing, and I think it makes a big difference. I like that. And say what you want about Albert Pujols, I'll put my hand up first and say he's not going to have a fantastic year. I've said that the whole time. But you have one of the greatest right-handed hitters of all time. And you have two right-handed superstars playing at your corner positions right now. Just taking notes. Just absorbing everything. You can't tell me that isn't a factor. You know what I'm saying? Like that's something that's not quantifiable. It's not an analytic. It's one of the greatest baseball players of all time are in our clubhouse. And we've got a young, hungry Cardinal lifer in a manager. And it's perfect. It's perfect.
It's truly jarring to see the amount of people that don't understand or respect that very fact of having Albert Pujols in your clubhouse.
You gotta have the chemistry, dude. That
Who
clubhouse has
cares?
to have the chemistry.
Like, who cares how he performs this year? They didn't re-sign him to go out and hit 40 and 100.
Yeah. I just think it's cool. I was wrong. I'm wrong. Like, I love the fact that I've been proven wrong, and I was concerned about if Pujols and his retirement tour and the whole thing was going to kind of rock the boat of what the Cardinals were trying to do. I love that I'm wrong about this. It's like, it's fired everybody up. It's fired everybody up, and I love that there's superstars that have been around the block. You know what I'm saying? Outside of, I think Tommy Edman is gonna be a superstar. I don't think he's there yet, but when you're talking about Nolan and Goldie, they've been around the block. They've been, I don't know how many All-Star games combined, plenty of Gold Gloves combined, probably some Silver Sluggers mixed in, right? And multiple MVP conversations between the both of them. So it's just this perfect storm that's been brewing over in St. Louis. And I don't know where their shortages are. I'm not close enough to them to understand where any holes are. If they need an outfielder, I mean, is Andrew Benintendi a weird addition? Or is that just money?
I mean, Andrew Benintendi's not a guy that's going to come in and as
He's
I
not
said,
gonna
upset
rock the
the apple
boat.
cart. Like, not a bad pickup there.
Guy that's producing, another veteran, right? That's a good name. I think that's the type of move that I see them doing. I don't think they're going to go out and make a huge splash. Like the way we looked at the Braves last year with, I feel like we always reference this. It's just, it's recency bias on incredible GM moves. But I mean, like the Solers and the Eddie Rosarios and the Duvals being added in, that type of name where you look at it and as a fan base, you're probably like, what? This is what we did? And then look what it gives you in the end, right? I think I could see the Cardinals doing something similar. A couple names where you're just like, all right, well, I thought that guy was kind of a has-been, or all right, well, I guess that guy fills, gives us some depth, and then all of a sudden they're providing some breakout, thing. They have this type of magic in St. Louis, dude. David Freese is probably the most average regular season guy, but he is a postseason god in St. Louis. Are they going to find somebody else like that? Maybe.
Let's talk about Anthony Rendon.
Well,
just tough.
I'm not ready for it yet.
There's something else you need to share with me?
Yeah, I just got to stretch a little bit.
Something else you got to get warmed up for, apparently?
Ooh, yeah. I went to the chiropractor today, by the way. Feeling sore, but feeling good.
The chiropractor is truly a godsend. Like, you walk out of there, you're like, I'm feeling like $1 million.
I could barely walk yesterday. Now your boy can at least, sit on the toilet without being in pain.
There you go.
That's what that golf tournament brought me, by the way. 6 under and the ability to, moan every step of the way up the stairs. But let me tell you about something that will just rock your socks. Big League Chew, founded by former left-handed pitcher Rob Nelson. Big League Chew started from humble beginnings in the Portland Mavericks bullpen in 1977. For more than 40 years, the iconic pouch is packed with shredded, flavorful bubblegum has become the #1 shredded gum of athletes everywhere. Big League Chew has sold more than 900 million pouches and is designated as the Hall of Fame bubblegum. Grab some gum and head to Big League Chew's social media channels at Big League Chew on Twitter, at Big League Chew Gum on Instagram to show off your Big League bubbles. You can also find a list of retailers that purchase any of their products directly from their website at bigleaguechew.com. Big League Chew. BLC if you're a part of that crew. You can be if you want.
If you know, you know.
If you know.
If you know. Like we say every time, go out and pick up some BLC. post a pic to your story. Make it artsy if you want. If you're at a game, have the
Whatever you
backdrop
want.
be whatever park you're at. Tag us, tag Big League Chew. You'll get a reshare, guaranteed. And if you don't, maybe I'll send you a free pack of Big League Chew. I don't know, but that's how confident I am in BLC because they're the real deal.
I'll send you some.
There you go. Nate will send you a pack of Big League Chew.
You blew through all of yours.
Within days.
Yeah.
Within days. Nate, Anthony Rendon, safe to say, one of the worst contracts in baseball history? Hindsight?
Well, how long has he been there? 18?
Signed
18, right? 'Cause
signed
he
a
didn't-
7-year, $245 million deal in December of 2019.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. So he did get a ring with the Nationals in 19.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to say it yet. I think it's definitely an overpay.
I mean, anything, you could really chalk up anything as an overpay if the guy just doesn't play games.
For sure.
Like at this point, like a few grand might be an overpay. Like he's just not playing baseball games.
I don't understand. I mean, the wrist has been an issue for a minute, hasn't it? This isn't anything new.
This season-ending wrist surgery has put a stop to his third season with the team after only 45 games. He has not played more than 58 games in a season for the Angels. Again,
Yeah,
small sample size, but
Yeah.
still not a great start to a
Still
7-year.
4 or 5 years left, right? 4?
Well, if he signed it in 19 or at the end of 19, 7 years would put him. That'd be 2021. So he's got what, 4 years left?
Yeah. I'm not ready to call it yet. I'm not ready to say that yet. And this is coming from a guy that has never really been that big of a fan of Rendon. Even when he was a National, I was like, I didn't get it. But the guy's a vacuum at third and can definitely hit. You just feel bad for guys like that. This isn't. I think it's a bigger flop if you see some type of like Chris Davis level of lack of production. You know what I mean? I think that hurts me more. Injuries are a different story. Injuries are a different thing. It's hard to chastise somebody for not being healthy. It's much easier to say you've just lost all your talent, you know? But
Yeah,
he hasn't. That's two different conversations. So I don't know. This is his first time having the surgery on the wrist, right? I know he's dealt with this injury.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I think so.
Maybe it's just been the last year and a half, 2 years of just fighting through it, constant cortisone shots and things like that. I don't know.
Yeah, his 2021 season ended after a hip injury. I think that was season-ending surgery as well in 2021. So last year. Tough, man.
Yeah,
Really
this
tough.
is not good. This is not good.
Look, not to.
But also, you can't use this. The 60 game, COVID year changes a lot too.
Right. I mean, that's why I say small sample size. Like you can say, well, he hasn't played more than 58 games in a season. Well, one of those was a 60-game season.
Right.
So, again, small sample size. But, okay, well, let's just put it like this. 2 regular length seasons, the only 2 regular length seasons in this contract for him thus far have ended in season-ending fashion. So, again, small sample size, but if you're the Angels, you're kind of looking at this going, where do we go from here? And look, not to kick them while they're down, because I know I just railed on the Angels after this most recent skid for them.
Yeah.
But look, this just further pushes my narrative a little bit. Going back to March, I said, you and I both said, when this guy is healthy, ... But he's not, as we're seeing now.
Yeah.
And the Angels are coming off of this skid. All of this rolled up into one is the sole conversation that I was having back in March when I said they're not the real deal. And people said, no, this is different. You included, this is different. It's not.
I didn't say that about the Angels.
And we're seeing it. You did say it.
No,
you
I
did
didn't.
say it.
I didn't buy into that.
You did say it.
I'm not putting them on like the Mets caliber.
No.
I said, yes, this team does look better than past, but I'm not.
Right, but if you remember, I was the one that had to put the reminder in my phone to make up my mind about the fraud Angels. It wasn't you.
Yeah.
So by nature, we felt different about the team. I was very much on the fence, or I was very much of the stance that this wasn't it. People were trying to tell me otherwise. No, nothing's changed with this team. You can go out and draft all the pitchers you want until those picks come to fruition, until those draft picks can help make a difference in your ball club. You're just going to be the same team. I'm sorry, but
I think they've really just put themselves in a corner with roster flexibility. You know, everybody's got like their own specific, their own like need, right? Every player has their own thing going on. It feels like over there. You know, it's just like they need to get more guys that are providing a little more flexibility, obviously health. But when you
need some guys that are DTF down to flex.
Yeah, for sure. And it's just guys that like are capable of just balling out and saying, whatever, I don't care. Like, I don't care what I'm dealing with. Put me at whatever position, anywhere in the lineup. I don't care.
Why Shohei hasn't offered to catch at this point is beyond me. Like, be a team player guy.
I like Shohei. I do. I like Shohei, but at the same time, it's like you have divas on your team. That's what the Angels have. You have divas.
Look at where they play.
You have divas, for sure. Shohei requires a very specific regiment for everything. Mike Trout is just, everybody is holding their breath, hoping that he just remains healthy, right? Rendon, we already talked about it. And Noah Syndergaard is like, you're what? Diva. Just divas all over the place. There's just drama. And it's not conducive for a playoff team. I'm sorry. It's just, this ain't it. And it does feel a little different. They're starting to, make moves in different directions. And I think they've fallen on their sword so many times. Like, at what point are you going to start to make different decisions? You fell on your sword with Josh Hamilton. You just fell on your sword at the beginning of the year with Justin Upton. You're now falling on your sword with Rendon. How much money are you gonna? How many checks are you gonna write out for guys? And just hold your breath on everything.
Well, we need to be careful getting too far down that road because we have historically we have knocked teams for not writing those checks. So at the very least, they have the money and they recognize that, and they're saying, "Well, here's money. Here's money. Here's a check. Here's a check." So I won't speak for you, but I personally won't knock them too much for that. At what point are we going to say this is
bad luck? Are we still saying this is bad luck?
At what point are we going to look at the Angels?
Or is this a time to just absolutely wipe out your player development team?
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Your entire staff. Wipe them out.
I was going to say, at what point do we look at the Angels and say, is this just a bad development program? Like, what are
where are your guys that you're home cooking, man? Where are the guys that you're growing up through your system? You've ruined Joe Adell, who I personally never saw why he was so highly touted. Where are the rest of your guys, dude? I think this is a minor league system issue. I think they need to clean house through and through in a lot of different ways. And it starts up top. GM's got to go. Front office has got to be shaken up. And a lot of coaches and development staff down through the system need to go too.
I think that's very much in play if they continue to skid. I'm not talking in terms of a couple losing streaks in there. I'm talking like the overall trajectory of the season. If they end up far below or well below what they anticipated being the result of this season, I think all of those things are in play because I really think that organization, good for them. They came into this season thinking, okay, I think we're good here, and clearly everything just fell apart. But presumably again, if things continue the way they have been, safe to say that heads are going to roll at some point. So
just there's zero roster flexibility, and they're unathletic in many ways.
You know who has been athletic? No, not the Oakland Athletics. The Cleveland Guardians. Look, at what point do we apologize? I mean, I know we're coming up on the home stretch of June here, but at what point are we going to acknowledge that maybe this team is real? Because I feel like up until
my criticism has never been towards the players. It's been more towards the front office.
Fair.
And I think the players are bailing the front office out right now.
Yeah.
For being, one of the lowest payrolls. This is not what anyone expected. This is not what anyone projected. And
I hate when this happens, by the way. Like ownership's just going,
I know, it's what I'm saying.
We're the new Moneyball 2.0. Like, no,
Ridiculous.
Just pay your guys.
Ridiculous. You have an absolute freak playing third base for you who's willing to just sign for pennies on the dollar to stay in frickin' Cleveland, Ohio.
Why, dude?
I don't get that. I don't get that.
I
don't understand that. I just want to see him go somewhere and compete. But this team, this is a team where you can say the development and coaching and players deserve all the credit in the world for what they're doing right now. Not the front office. You're not going to drag me down that hole. No way. I will never admit that.
At what point do we say? Because look, I mean, I won't speak for you, but I think we're in the same boat when it comes to this team. That up to this point, it's been like, the Guardians are playing well, but at the end of the day, the White Sox are probably going to take the division. I mean, we literally have said that within the last number of weeks, on multiple occasions.
Yeah.
And while we may still feel like that, the Guardians, it's June 20th, and they're a game back. They were 7.5 games out of first place on May 29th and 5 games below 500 at 19-24. And as of Monday, they're 1 game back in the division and 6 games above 500 at 34-28. And I don't know if you saw this, but the Indians put out a tweet the other day, and I didn't copy and paste it, and I'm paraphrasing, but it was something along the lines of, we're going to make them talk about us. And I believe this was after they took the series out in LA. And I'm like, I love that, because you know that tweet it presumably resembles everything that's driving that team right now in the clubhouse, where it's like, we get no love, we're underpaid, our front office doesn't really care about us, despite what they may say. We've got a great fan base, and we're just going to go out and win ball games because we have talent. You look around the field, like I said, you look around that roster, underpaid across the board. But it doesn't mean that there's talent or that there's not talent, because there is. And the fact that they've done what they've done in these last 3 weeks, I mean, they've won 16 of their last 21 games. They've won 6 straight series. And they're 13-4 in the month of June. I mean, I'm not saying it's time to apologize, but it's maybe time to recognize what's going on in Cleveland.
I would agree. I mean, they're 10th as a team in batting average. The 19th in OPS. It's kind of a fun team to watch. And they're 27th in home runs. They have no pop. So let's look at pitching. It's got to be pitching, right? They're 6th in ERA. Yeah, I think it's pitching, dude. I think it's that rotation, and I think I have to publicly apologize to old Tito Francona. I think I forgot what that guy's capable of doing. That guy's a true pro, man. That guy knows what he's doing.
I'm pretty sure at one point you said verbatim that he's lost control of the clubhouse.
I thought he did. Thought he did for sure. But it's also a really bad division. I think that's something else we got to remember. This is a really bad division. Like, the Tigers and the Royals are bad.
Really bad. And look, I apologize. I was way off on my outlook for both of those clubs. Maybe I was a little early to the party. Maybe 2023 holds something in store, but not this year. This is just terrible. But looking up and down the division, you've got the Twins at, I can't even read that. I don't have my glasses or contacts in.
Oh dear.
38-30 it looks like for the Twins.
I got you, dog. Hold on.
At the top, Cleveland, 34. Here, you know what? Let's just make the text bigger. Nope, that makes us bigger. Hold on.
Let me zoom in.
There we go. Yeah, there. Oh yeah, nice and big. Size 42 font. The Twins at 38-30. The Indians. Yikes. The Guardians. 34-28 in second. The White Sox in third, under 500 at 31-33. The Tigers at 26-40. And the Royals pulling up the rear at 23-42.
Yikes. But the Guardians have a better run differential than the Twins, than the Rays, than the Blue Jays. Obviously better than the Angels. If you want to slide over to the NL, they're doing better than the Marlins, Brewers. They're in the conversation of what the Giants are doing run differential wise. I mean, this is solid, dude. This is solid. But it's a really bad division.
I know, but and this may be an unpopular opinion at this point because I know we just love ragging on the AL Central, but I'm just tired of talking about how bad the Central is. Like, it's a known fact. It's a matter of what the team that comes out of that division is capable of doing in October. Because we talked all year last year about, you know what, the White Sox playing a rough division in terms of just overall performance and talent.
Yeah.
But they're going to make some noise in October. They didn't make any noise in October.
No.
So it's like, it's like everyone knows that the AL Central is terrible. It's just a matter of how the team that comes out of there matches up with the rest of the league. And if other teams across the league in the other two divisions are scuffling as well, like if maybe the AL just is struggling as a whole come October, then you can kind of chalk it up as maybe more of a level playing field than we're making it out to be. Like I just need to see what you can do against the other playoff teams when it comes to that time.
I mean, they're 5-5 against AL East. They're 9-8 against the AL West, and they're 12-8 against the Central. They're 8-7 in interleague play. They're a 500 ball club.
It's a flip of the coin. You never know. If they come out of the Central this year, it's a flip of the coin.
But I mean, I think you're right. I think that the division is going to be a 80, 85, 86 win team.
And look,
I think that's what we're looking at for that.
If you're any one of those three teams, whether it be the White Sox, the Guardians, or the Twins,
yeah,
now's your time to make your move because, again, it may have been a little early to the party, but I think moving forward, the landscape of this division changes. So if you're gonna try to skate by with high 80 win total, mid 80 win total, and get out of that division, do whatever you got to do this year because I do truly believe that the landscape of that division is changing moving forward. So do what you got to do this year while you still can.
I think we have to acknowledge that there are fan bases. It's not us. It's not our fan bases, right? When people ask us, you know, what's a successful season? It's a ring for us, right? Otherwise, I'm good. Like, that's the success. You have other teams that have a different definition. You know, if you get into the postseason, if you're the Guardians, if you're the Rangers, Mariners, Marlins, Pittsburgh, Arizona, Colorado, those types of teams, they'd be like, yes, we got here, boys. Like that. Hey, whatever happens after this, it's all good because we got here. You got to have some of those teams, those middle of the road teams, and they fit into that category. And
well, can I ask a question?
I think this is a successful season for them so far. And if they do get into the postseason, or if they're coming down to the final week and they're still competing for a spot, I would consider that a successful season for the Cleveland Guardians.
Well, whoever comes out of there into the postseason, it's got to win the division.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
There's people talking about it right now that there's potential for 4 teams to come out of the East.
Right.
I mean, that's unheard of, quite literally, because we haven't had this structure. But
yeah,
you're gonna have to win the division. That's it. But going back to your question about what these teams define as success, serious question, and I'm asking this. I'm trying to refrain from making this a dig. It's a serious question. You mentioned the Rockies. You grouped the Rockies in there. Last time the Rockies were in the World Series, 2007.
Yeah.
You know who was in the World Series 2 years later and hasn't been back since?
Yeah. I know.
So for the Yankees, this is kind of going off topic here, but I've been meaning to ask you this because I mean, as each day passes, we've talked about it. It's been a little bit of a drought for the Yankees. Are you still holding on to the belief that it's ring or bust for the Yankees every single year? Because I feel like coming up short in the ALCS time and time again has to get old after a while for the Yankees. So at this point, is making the World Series like a good starting point?
No. I am the arguably the last generation with that thought process. Once my generation dies off, I don't know what it's going to be like.
Okay. I'll give you that. I respect that.
Younger Yankees fans are just they are what they are.
They're head cases, man.
Yeah. So I mean, I feel like it's my age and up are that type of thought process, and it's because of the Yankees find a way to get those transitions. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gone from the boss, and then it's transitioned into this new mentality, right? Where as long as Cashman is still here, we've got a chance. And then it's turned into your leaders on the field. And now we're starting to feel like we have that, that leader. Judge is that captain, right? He's this generation's Jeter. So let's get him into this role. And it's all transitions, right? The Yankees will never go through a rebuild. And that's why that's my expectations. Man, I that's why I'm not saying anything right now. None of this matters to me.
I know.
I love that they're playing good ball, and it's really fun to watch. And look, if they keep this up, this could be the greatest regular season we've ever seen, but it doesn't matter unless it's capped off.
Look, hey, I was talking with Meredith about it on the ride home because we were just we were in the car for a long time coming back from OBX, and we got on the topic of the Red Sox, and we got on the topic of the Yankees.
Yeah.
And she was asking about how the Yankees are doing this year. She go, because she's not all that in tune with the Yankees as much as the Red Sox, obviously. And I was telling her, I was like, look, this is giving me major 2018 Red Sox vibes where you think at some point it's going to tail off, but they just run the table start to finish. And I'm like, we could potentially be looking at that with the Yankees this year because everyone's saying, well, it's not sustainable. And yet they just keep winning. And they won again tonight. And it's like,
Just got their 50th win, dude.
it's insane. And so going back to my question that I asked you, I know I asked that with a smile on my face. Look, as a Red Sox fan, I had to say it with a smile on my face because I was genuinely curious, and it was a little bit of a dig, but I was curious about how you actually felt about what the Yankees define as success, because based on, I should say, what you were saying about the way that the teams such as the Guardians and so on and so forth define their success as.
Yeah.
All that to say, Guardians are playing real good ball right now. If they want to make it to October, as we said, you're going to have to win the division. Like there's really no ifs, ands, or buts there. It's you're going to have to come out of the Central as division.
Oh yeah,
because
for sure you're going to have a wild card. You're going to have probably 2 wild card teams with a better record than the Central division winner.
Yeah, and look, if I was reading up a little bit on the Mariners, looking for potential lifelines to maybe right that ship a little bit. If the Mariners somehow figure it out in the second half, that potentially could take away one of the spots out of the AL East. But all
Dude,
things
the Mariners
considered,
are 8 games back from the lowest spot in wild card. The Orioles are only 7.
That's what
I
I'm
think
saying,
the Mariners
dude.
are done.
I don't know, man. I'm just saying, in terms of wild card picture, like you got your work cut out for you if you're in the Central. Nate, that about wraps up for me. I know we went a little deep. We got a couple closing the book items, and for the sake of time, probably roll through these pretty quick. But shout out to the Pirates, you know. I don't really know what to say about the team as a whole. I know there for a minute they were getting us excited. We said, what's going on in Pittsburgh?
Dude, they're getting a little buzz. Like, they're getting things going there. I like that. They just walked it off against the Giants, dude. Like, that's cool.
That was going to be my point. Jack Zawinski, 3 home runs, hit one in the 4th, the 6th, and then hits his second walk-off homer of the month in the bottom of the 9th. And this was against the Giants, as you mentioned.
On Father's Day with Pops in the crowd, I believe.
The first rookie in MLB history to hit 3 homers, including a walk-off in a single game. You love to see it.
Yeah.
Not a bad fantasy pickup for those of you playing fantasy baseball. Not a bad,
Did you snag him?
Pickup. I was going to, but then I had to make some moves and didn't. But just some free advice.
Yeah.
Jack Zawinski, not a bad depth option. Also, the Pirates bringing up O'Neal Cruz, who
my goodness.
We were reminded that this was not his major league debut because he actually made his debut in October last year. But the number 22 prospect in baseball, the Pirates' top prospect, 6'7", is the tallest shortstop in baseball.
6'7", 220, I believe. And just has an absolute bazooka for a right arm.
Yeah, that play tonight, dude. What? Are you serious?
Oh, your comment of like you thought he spiked it. I thought that was going to be 8 feet short of the first baseman, and it's just a bullet, dude.
It looked like he threw it straight into the ground, and then all of a sudden you see the ball like rising. Like that's a lot of action to get the ball to have the ball move that way as you're throwing it across the diamond. you have to be able to put some juice behind it. And you said it was what, like 97 or something across the diamond?
96.7 to be exact.
Are you serious?
Yeah, new MLB high this year. And I think that's like, that was a backhand kind of, I got to shuffle off my backside kind of thing. Imagine like a bullet one hopper out and where he gets to gather himself a little bit and then show it off.
Yeah, glove side.
He's going higher than that for sure.
Triple digits.
Or just like a bang, bang, I got to turn this double play real quick and just throw everything at it.
Yes, like a vintage Carlos Correa coming across the bag and just lace it to first.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Poor
Michael Chavis, dude. Your palm is just gone.
He might hit 190 on the gun. Who knows? Who knows?
That kid's going to be exciting. That kid's going to be fun. That's what I'm saying, dude. They're building a little something over there. I like that. I like what they're doing. I like that they're getting... Look, they're not a good ball club, but I like that they're getting attention, and I like that the average fan is starting to notice a little bit, and I want that for them. We've talked about this over and over. The Pirates need to be in the conversation for at least being competitive. It's too good of a ball club, or too good of a ballpark, too good of a color scheme, too good of it's a good fan base. It's a good sports city out there. So like, let's get them going. Let's build this thing.
Safe to say that you feel that the Pirates need to be putting some butts in seats?
Yeah, you're just waiting for the last minute here, huh? At the buzzer.
You have no idea what we have left. Actually, you have every idea what we have left because you were the one that gave me this closing the book list. Nate SeatGeek is the answer to all your ticket needs. You're looking for tickets? Do you have plans of friends or family to make it to an upcoming game or concert? Or are you even looking months ahead to nail down a date to get tickets before they sell out? With SeatGeek, you can find tickets to games, concert shows, and even theater performances with just a few easy clicks, or making it even better for you. If you are a first-time user of SeatGeek, next time you add some tickets to your cart, use our promo code the number 3, the number 0, take pod. That's our social handle at checkout to save $20. That's $20 instantly off your first purchase as a first-time user. It's all you got to do to save some of that.
Cold hard cash.
Enter promo code the number 3, the number 0, take pod. That's our social handle at checkout. SeatGeek. A couple more items here. Albert Pujols got a proper send-off in Boston.
It's about time somebody did something.
They hooked him up with a good old-fashioned number 5 from the Green Monster scoreboard, which is just that's what they do.
Does anyone sign the back of those? Or is it just the inside of the wall? Is anyone signing those plates?
That's a great question. I doubt it. I mean, I should probably know this, but I'm pretty sure when people go in to sign, they're just signing the wall. Like I've seen,
because they have them like stacked up on the table, right?
Yeah. Like I've seen countless.
There, like,
I've seen countless pictures of like the concrete in there. There's names all over the place, and but I wouldn't think that they sign the numbers for that reason, probably. Unless
Poppy showed up for the gift though, right?
Yeah. I think for the picture I saw Poppy, Raffy was in there. I think Xander was in there too.
I like that.
Yeah, because Xander was. Yeah. It was those 4 guys in the picture. But yeah, proper send off for whatever reason. And I don't know if you've checked in on this at all, because I know every now and then you'll hit me up about comments you see on our posts, even from like a while back.
Yeah.
But I get these notifications about this Pujols thing, this Pujols quote from Machado from literally June 9th, which don't know why this post really blew up, but people have very strong feelings about it. Smash Mouth even commented on it, which was a wild notification that I...
Hey now.
You're an all-star. People are just fed up, and the disrespect for Pujols in these comments it's unreal. And also the amount of people that don't realize he's retiring, it's like, yeah, there's a lot of back and forth, but it's been well documented at this point that this is his last season. Like that's been made clear. But all that to say, good to see the Sox doing the right thing. I'm not surprised. That's all I'm gonna say. Not surprised.
That's the way it needs to be, dude. And I think that's what's cool is that like you got to find somebody, from that generation, Albert's like the oldest guy on the earth right now. So like you got to find somebody that played with him, bring him back.
That reminds me of that meme where it was talking about like age, where it's like, we talk about old people being like 70 or 80, but then you're watching a sports game and it says, the sportscaster says, and here he comes, age 35. It's a miracle. That's how I feel about like Pujols right now. It's like, dude, 40 years old. It's a miracle he can even make it up to the plate.
When in MLB Central, anytime they have like some crazy stat that like it's the first guy to do this since like 1894 or whatever, and Roflo always hits it with like, and whatever his name is, like Shoestrap Bill or whatever that played it for the for the Popcorn League or whatever back in 1893 is like lived to the ripe age of 28 years old. And it's like,
dude,
gets me every time.
It was a different time back in the day. Couple more items here. Ryan Zimmerman, I'm sure you saw that, buying all the fans a beer cool, for his weekend.
I need to see that receipt.
Yeah, dude. What's interesting is there was a couple comments on the post on IG where it was like, well, I would hope so with that kind of money. It's like, he doesn't owe anybody anything. Like, he gave his career to the city of DC. He doesn't owe anybody a single thing. So let's not act like he needs to buy anybody a beer.
It was the whole stadium?
I think I'd have to go back and read up on it a little more, but I think he like linked up with some bar. I think it's called like the Salt Line is right there in DC.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Down by the water. I think he linked up with them. I don't know if he was hanging out there and just anybody that came in, like if they're a Nats fan or whatever, but I think it was something along the lines of like, hey, Zimmerman's here. If you want a beer, go get a beer. It's on him. I think that's how it panned out. But doesn't take away from the fact that that's a lot. Like, that's a lot. And he doesn't owe anybody anything.
Just pass over my credit card for a $70,000 beer tab. Like, get out of here.
Unreal. And lastly here, Nate.
That's a big flex, though. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Like, that's like, I wish I could do that someday.
And I'm not even surprised, dude. That's just who Ryan Zimmerman is, man. He's a man of the people. And lastly here, Sandy Koufax having his statue unveiled at Dodger Stadium. Only the second statue.
That I was surprised with.
I was surprised as well. He's right there alongside Jackie.
Why now?
And not, when I say Jackie, I don't mean Tim Anderson. I'm talking about Jackie Robinson.
Oof.
Yeah, that was a ricochet. Jackie Robinson out there, right alongside him. Good for Sandy.
Why did it take so long?
Just a dude. I don't, like, what are you doing, Dodgers? Come on.
Should have been done 30 years ago. What are we doing?
Many years ago.
Yeah.
You should have, the statue should have been built before he even stepped foot on a mat. Like, you knew what you had in Sandy Koufax. Like, come on.
It's odd.
Don't kid yourself.
I think there's a balance between what the Yankees do of retiring everybody that plays for them for 5 years or more, retiring their number, versus like the Dodgers just not giving love to anybody. There's a middleman. We got to find that middle ground of giving the correct treatment. But
yeah, it's
this is perfect. This is exactly what he deserves.
If you're the Dodgers, you either have to be somebody that like changes the course of baseball history forever, or you basically have to like give your shoulder. You have to sacrifice your shoulder as a pitcher to be deserving. Not even as a guarantee to earn the statue, just to be like entered into the conversation.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we'll sit on it. We'll think about it.
He still looks pretty good, dude. Like,
he does.
I feel like he could still go out there and K somebody up.
They could sling it. 86 years old, man. 86 years young. Good for Sandy. Well deserved.
Yeah.
That's all I got. Unless you got anything else for the Chasers.
Negative. Coming back at you Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. Your boy's going out of town.
Yeah, so that'll be a little early on Thursday.
Yeah.
All right.
Should be getting it midday Thursday. So, yeah.
That's the plan.
Good stuff. Well, Happy Taco Tuesday, everybody. And don't go chase curveballs.
We love y'all, and as always, looking forward to talking more baseball with you guys soon. Until next time, stay filthy.